Yo guys, so recently I found my old phone, and with my old phone came a series of screenshots from my old Tinder adventures. It reminded me of something quite important to me, and that is, I don't miss Tinder at all. There's been a few different stages in my life where I found myself on Tinder, and the first stage was honestly when I just didn't belong on there at all. I was still very early on in my self-development, but I'd been starved so bad of female attention that I just found myself downloading it anyway. And in hindsight, I had the worst profile ever. I really wish I could find a screenshot of this. I know there's a screenshot of it somewhere. I spent so long trying to find it, but I just could not. Honestly, I thought my profile at the time was good, and then I showed it to a few of my friends and they were just like, oh my god, bro. I didn't really have a good eye for these types of things back then. I was quite socially slow. I was slow to the race, let's say, yeah. And at this point, Tinder was a complete and utter waste of time. Don't mind Chairman Mao back there. I've just moved into a new spot. It's not my artwork. I think the owners might be Chinese, so. I was getting about one match a week on this profile, which is fucking brutal. And the matches I were getting were very low quality as well. And like I say, because I was very female attention deprived, I spent a lot of time on Tinder trying to figure out how to make it work. When the reality was, I just wasn't ready for Tinder. You know, I didn't have the baseline self-development foundation set for me to start even attracting women from Tinder, which we're gonna talk about later. But this proved to just be a massive time sink. Wasted a ton of time. And it was also really destructive for my self-esteem because I spent so long on the app looking at all of the women who were essentially just rejecting me. They were swiping no on me. Every time I went through my stack and I swiped yes on a woman and I didn't get a notification saying, oh, she likes you too. I'm kind of just drilling it into my skull every time that like, oh yeah, like I'm not worthy of love after all, you know? In my opinion, and this is obvious as fuck to me now, but it might not be obvious to you boys just yet. And to be honest, I had people telling me this exact advice ages ago, but I didn't listen. I still went on Tinder. But if you're not at the level where you're getting at least a few matches a day on Tinder, it is a complete and utter waste of time. And you don't have time to waste if you're at that level where you're not getting matches. You need to be using your time wisely to level up to the point where you are starting to get a baseline level of attraction from women. Instead of being on Tinder at that point, you should be hitting the oil rig. But let's talk about when I got a decent profile and when I did start to get a steady flow of matches, which was awesome. I had reached a stage of my development. I had hit the oil rig for long enough. I had learned how to take good photos. I had become more attractive through my journey of development of self. And now I was at the level where I was getting a baseline level of attraction from women. I was getting a few matches a day, which is awesome. That feels amazing, especially coming from where I came from, where I didn't get any female attention at all. And then I started getting messages like this, and that felt amazing. Oh my God, is she flirting with me? Oh my God. Finally, after years of grinding in the trenches, I have become worthy of a woman's love. Oh man. It always feels like a good idea to get Tinder when you're single. It's just low barrier of entry dating, right? You're just one application download away from potentially getting female attention. Oh, bloody hell, yeah, that's amazing. Let me put it this way, right? As a man, if you clock eyes with another woman in the street and you kind of look at each other in that way, you get in that like a little bit of eye fucking, you know? You feel amazing. And that's because you've just gathered female attention. You know now in your head, she's down to fuck. I am worthy enough to attract a woman like that. And that makes you feel really good. And you get the same effect with Tinder when you get a message from a woman, right? Especially if it's a flirtatious message. Perhaps not a message where it's a woman telling you to fuck off and die, but so when you get messages like that, you naturally want more, right? It's kind of like any sort of addiction that makes you feel good. You want more and more and more. And so I eventually found myself, after I did get a profile and I was getting some good matches, some messages back and forth every day, I was just spending more and more time on the app. I was spending more money on the app. I had bought fucking Tinder Platinum and all of this shit, right? Fucking microtransactions. Pay to win dating, by the way. How crazy is that? And this was very easy for me to fall into because, again, I'd just been starved of female attention for most of my life. So this was new, novel, exciting for me. It's like, holy shit, finally. Finally, man. So then I found myself opening the app more and more. I started to actually dismiss my duties, which had got me to the level where I'm at this point, to start attracting women. women, which is a big no-no. Maybe instead of sitting down and doing my work, I'll just be like, oh, real quick, I'll just open Tinder to just make sure that I'm worthy of love, perhaps. And then after 30 minutes of scrolling through 50 girls, and maybe 3 of them have matched me, and 47 have rejected me, because think about it, that's what you're programming your brain to think. These 47 girls who I've just swiped yes on, and I didn't get a notification saying, yep, they like you too. You're essentially telling yourself, I'm not worthy of that girl. She didn't swipe yes on me. Think about what that does to your self-esteem over time. And then you might be thinking, oh, Sam, you do have to sacrifice for women. You know, that's what love is, sacrifice. You say it yourself, Sam. And to that I say, not like this. Not like this, bro. This is not a good use of your time. You're not wanting to sacrifice for this caliber of girl as well. Let me tell you guys, if her Tinder bio says this, okay, this is not a worthy use of your time to pursue. And for some reason, I just put this girl on blast. And you might be thinking, Sam, do these messages work? These messages where you just call them out for having daddy issues? And I can actually categorically tell you right now that it works 20% of the time. And then the other 80%, you get reported and banned off Tinder. But boys, that 20%, whoo, oh yeah. But that's Tinder. It's a numbers game. That's all it is. I've had my chair set out for like an hour in this new place, and they've already demolished my beautiful gamer chair, haven't you? So let me ask you this. Is the sacrifice that you make, the time sacrifice, the subconscious self-esteem sacrifice, worth it in exchange for potentially, not 100%, let's say you have, I don't know, a fucking 5% hit rate on girls that you match with on Tinder, because 95% of them, even if they match you, they're not really going to be interested in speaking to you. They're probably just wanting to have a chat and get some attention, male attention. But let's say 5% of the girls you match with who have back tattoo looks better from a bird's eye view in her public bio on a dating app where every man in her local vicinity can see that. Is that worth it? Is it? Because let's be honest, Tinder, it's not a dating app. It's a fucking hookup app. It's glorified prostitution, where instead of straight up just paying for sex, you weirdly role play as someone who's just like getting to know you. Yeah, I'm just interested to getting to know some girls, man, you know? And at some point, I just realized this, that it is just like role playing. It's just bullshit. And I dropped the veil. I started to experiment with how I was messaging girls. I wouldn't do this bullshit role play stuff. I would just cut straight to the chase. I know why you're here. You know why you've matched me. Let's just fuck already. Let's just meet, okay? But I learned very quickly this doesn't work with women, because again, you have to weirdly role play with them. Like, no, we're not going to meet and have sex. We're going round yours at 11 o'clock at night, and we're going to smoke weed and watch a film together. We're definitely not gonna have sex. No. The problem is, women love Tinder because as soon as they get the thought in their brain of like, am I ugly? Do I have a dog shit personality? Am I going to die alone? They can just open up their magical male attention app and, oh, everything's okay after all, you know? Like, their fucking existential dread about being a fucking wench, never getting married, and dying alone with 86 cats is suddenly quenched because they can just open up the magical app and they'll have 100 dudes in there trying to smash, you know? So that's why women have the app. But then why do men have the app? Well, because it's a low barrier of entry dating app, where all you have to do to potentially get female attention is just download an application on your phone. And in a generation which is mired by social anxiety, this is very attractive, man. The easiest pathway to sex, you know, and men are taking it for convenience. It sells the dream to young men who aren't willing to put in the work to actually attract a woman. And again, it's like, well, why not? The barrier of entry is so low. Just download the app, and you can potentially have sex with a 304 within a few hours in some cases. You can meet fucking same day to smoke some weed and watch a film. Yeah, okay, bro, you know? The reason I'm making this video is because I want to remind you guys that this shit's destructive as fuck. It really is. And I promise you this as well, as someone who's done his time in the trenches, no woman that you meet on that app is worth the Uber ride. I repeat, no woman on that app is worth the Uber ride. Especially if you're not a guy who's at the level where you're just getting matches for free every single day. It's literally just hands off. You're a complete Chad at this point. That's the only use case that I can see for Tinder. If you are at absolute Chad level, you're getting over 10 matches a day effortlessly. And for some fuck all reason, you want to run through the populace in your local area, all of the fucking hoes. You want to just go through those as quickly as possible, which I don't recommend. I don't recommend that at all. I think it does massive destruction to the dating market, and I think it's unfulfilling. But imagine that the only use case I could come up with for Tinder was for haram degeneracy, which just destroys the fucking dating market and your spirit at the same time. If you're watching this and you're considering Tinder, I've seen a few guys in my Discord server talking about it. I get it. I understand why you have a pull towards it, because I was in that exact same boat. That's why I got the app. You've probably been starved of female attention your entire life. Maybe you want a girlfriend. Maybe you just want to fuck. Maybe you have this pull towards losing your virginity as quickly as possible. Maybe you want to feel like the man who can attract women, the man worthy of a woman's love. Maybe you just want to feel admired. Maybe you want to get that feeling of when you lock eyes with a woman in public and you kind of look each other up and down. But you want to get that in the lowest friction way possible. Convenience isn't always a good thing. You could argue that it's the reason why we're in the mess we're in right now. In real time right now, we are all actively training AI to replace 90% of the populace for the sake of convenience. We're all ingesting a credit card's worth of microplastics per month for the sake of convenience. We destroy nature, we destroy ecosystems for the sake of convenience. And we destroy our mental health, our spirit, our self-esteem, and our own dating market for the sake of convenience. My good friend Temi once said on my Cigar Sundays podcast, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." And I couldn't agree more. Get out into the real world, boys. Go find women like your father found women, like your grandfather found women. Maybe not like how the cavemen did. I don't think we should go too far back there because it's gonna get a little bit edgy. But go outside and be interesting. Be a man who is willing to take risks. Go up to the woman, make eye contact with the woman, have good social finesse, have some charisma about you, carry good energy. All of this is lost when you go onto Tinder. It takes all of the nuance and the beauty out of dating and finding a good woman who sets your heart ablaze. And for what, man? Boys, if you want to learn how to make money online from the comfort of your bedroom or traveling the world with your laptop, much like how I'm doing right now, then check the first link in the description. It's my Academy of Excellence. I teach over 500 young men how to make money through video editing. That's exactly what I do. And now I teach it to you. And it's going really well for a lot of my students, as you can see on the screen right now. Check it out, see if it's for you. Take care, boys.